guys, this is Mentor Tuba. I have brought a super exciting scenario in this video to discuss. I can guarantee you will really enjoy this conversation. But for that, only one condition that you will have to listen to this whole video till the end. Otherwise, you will miss out on some important context. Quickly, I'm going to read out the scenario, the option choices, and then we will see the scenario in detail, option by option. During an iteration of a qualitative risk assessment, a high priority risk has been exposed by a team member needing immediate attention. When the team checked the risk register, they didn't find a trace of the situation over there. What should the project manager do first? A, perform RCA, root cause analysis, and update the risk register. B, escalate the risk to project governance board and request immediate action. C, request suggestions from project stakeholders for planning risk response. And D, implement a workaround to minimize the impact of the risk. Now, I would really want you guys to make a guess that what would you do in this situation? And I can bet on it. You will say A. I'm not saying A is the wrong answer. I'm just saying that, like, based on what we know about risk management or project management in general, we usually see the situation at times theoretically, at times superficially, at times without connecting the context or like different, pieces of information that we have in an integrated manner. And this is exactly where we miss out on the correct option. Okay, let me first tell you what is really going on over here. It's easy to understand. In a simple language, it's like the qualitative assessment of any project going on. A high priority risk has been identified or exposed or found out or discovered, whatever you want to say it, by a team member during that discussion, which requires urgent attention. This is an urgent risk, right? Where the implementation of response plan is immediately. So far, so good. Now, when the risk register has been checked, there was no instance of that risk available over there, which means that this risk was never identified before, accordingly never assessed before. Right? So this risk technically has been identified right now. Accordingly, as per the rule of thumb, the risk register will be updated. Till this point, all of us must be aligned on the same page. Now, what should the project manager do first? Please keep this in consideration that this risk is just been identified and requires immediate action. Immediate action probably could be like an action which may be needed like in a very short time, like an hour or so. So at least to tone down the impact of that situation. Like maybe that action step is not going to, remediate it like to the next level, but at least to lower it down to the level that at least the situation could be considered as a state. This is exactly what we do in real life situations. Now let's check the option choices one by one. A, perform root cause analysis and update the risk register. Now I know that most of you must have gone for this, and I don't disagree with that. I myself am, an ambassador of this very technique and concept in project management. I myself always recommend that whenever there is a situation, do not really jump to the action step before performing root cause analysis. And I still am saying the same. However, it depends on context. It depends on how critical or chaotic the situation is, right? If the situation demands an urgent step, urgent action, because that's the need of the time, you will not really go to RCA as the first step. This question is asking for the first step. In this case, you will not go to RCA as the first step. Yes, there's a later step for sure. Later on, you will definitely have to discuss and find out with your team that why this risk was missed, why we had to prioritize it on an urgent basis, eh, like 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 this, or what we are going to um, present to our senior management, what justification would we come up with, all of that is going to be done. All the causes are going to be identified and discussed and converged. Everything is going to be done, but not as a first step, because this is an urgent situation, requires immediate attention. So as a first step, we will not perform root cause analysis. This will waste time. I'm not saying RCA is a waste of time. I'm saying that this is probably a crisis situation, and you need to come up with like an urgent response plan, urgent action to at least minimize its impact, which is option D. Option D is actually the correct answer to this question, at least in this situation. The first step is option D, followed by option D, right? I hope you understand the situation. In a chaotic situation, in an urgent situation, or a super urgent situation, nobody really cares about RC as the first step. They care about the what's the emergency plan that you have, or if you have any. And if you don't have any, then naturally the risk will convert into issue, or a bigger damage than what's causing you right now. So between A and D, of course, D is going to be the right thing to do. Implement a workaround to minimize the impact of the risk, which is exactly the same thing I just explained. Now, maybe some of you would say that why workaround? This is still a risk. This has not become an issue yet. Why would we come up with a workaround? Workaround is in the situation where you already have converted a risk into issue, a known risk or an unknown risk into an issue, and then we go for a fix or workaround. I agree. I agree. I don't disagree to all of this. But this is exactly the point of discussion, that we do not go in a literal manner always. This is a workaround. The situation we are in and the way we are tackling it would qualify that action as a workaround, because this is not an agreed upon, uh, you know, previously thought through, mutually aligned response plan. This is a workaround. Temporarily, this is a workaround for this risk. Of course, you are going to qualify this risk and risk adjuster most likely as a first step. However, as the very next step, you will not go for RCA, you will go for a workaround, because you don't have any action step available in the risk adjuster, right? And the intention is to minimize its impact, or maybe to provide an L1 or an early level support, so that at least you could bring it to a stable situation, right? You could tone down that chaotic element, maybe from the current severity level to a mid level severity, or maybe from the current to high, or to a point lower than that. And then A and maybe B as well is going to be done. So B is like escalating the risk to project governance board and request immediate action. I do not disagree with this as well. Yes, in some cases, you probably do not have that much provision or authority available with you to deal this kind of situation all by yourself, and at times escalating the situation to senior management, to sponsor, to steering committee is also a very good step. However, between B and D, the difference is the level of ownership. As the very first step, the project manager would like to implement a workaround, and if the workaround, as per him, is to escalate the situation to governance board, because his hand cannot keep the situation because of lack of authority or lack of approving power or so, then he may go for B as well. But B is one possibility. B is not the only thing that we may go for. Workaround could be anything that project manager deems correct. It could be it could be maybe applying or using a backup resource or better utilization of resources or making the use of contingency or anything that he may apply or maybe escalating, which is B. But B is one such option. D may have more breadth of possibilities. So B is one such choice, D is a better option, right? Why not see request suggestions from project stakeholders for planning the risk response? Like I said, you are going to qualify it in risk register, and maybe before D, you will definitely update the risk register. I'm not saying the risk register will not be updated, but at that point where you are standing, the risk register will only carry a risk ID, risk statement, and maybe the current impact that you, and maybe the status that it's an urgent risk. That's it. Everything else is going to be performed later after D. So yes, C is also going to be done. The proper analysis, RCA, impact assessment, the damage that this risk might have caused so far, and what's the manageability, why the detectability was so low. Everything is going to be discussed later on, right? But not as a first step, right? Response planning is also going to be done as suggested in C, but as per the process later. After qualitative assessment and discussions with the stakeholder is done, reserve analysis is assessed, then you are going to perform the response plan. So C is the latest step. I hope you like this explanation. D is clearly the correct answer to this question, and only 13% went for this option D, and 67% went for option A when we posted this question on our regular Wednesday RMP for the same reason that I just explained. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to discuss those with me in the comment area or directly by connecting with me on WhatsApp or LinkedIn. If you have any similar situations, I mean, not similar, but like related situations which you want to discuss with me, feel free to connect with me. I will definitely clarify your queries. If you have liked this video, please share your comments and please like this video as well. And do not forget to subscribe our channel. I will be back very soon with a new interesting RMP scenario. Till then, take care.